You're an expert, credentialed, experienced, with great user testimonials. But an upstart just started up, but they're making all the money and they're getting all the attention. If you have ever noticed this in your industry, in your niche, this show is for you.
You are watching Influence Media, PSI TV, the Netflix of biz brands.
Today I'm going to share a story. We're going to look at what the Bible says, what academic research says, all of which I bring strategies to optimize your opportunities to be famous for what you do. Trudy Beerman here of Profitable Social Influence TV, PSI TV. I'm also a doctoral candidate at Liberty University. And because I'm in the media space, my research is in the space of influential reach. This story is about King Saul, whom was at this point, he's chasing David to kill him. And in this part of the story, David has found him in a cave, cut off a corner of his robe. And then David says to him, "Why are you trying to kill me? After whom has the king of Israel come out? After whom do you pursue? After a dead dog? After a flea?" In other words, David did not see himself as higher than the king, as more noble than the king, as more important than the king. But the King Saul had a problem with David. So here's the problem. So now we're going a little back in time now. Saul is jealous of David. As they were coming home, when David returned from striking down the Philistines, the women came out of the cities of Israel singing and dancing to meet King Saul with tambourines, with songs of joy, with musical instruments. And when the women sang to one another as they celebrated, Saul has struck down his thousands and David his 10,000s. And Saul was very angry. Oh, they have ascribed to David 10,000s, and to me they've ascribed thousands. And what more can he have but the kingdom? So the perspectives of who David saw himself as and who Saul saw David as, there's clearly a disconnect here. So they're both, let's say, in the same industry. Let's use fitness just for the sake of doing something simple. They're both in the fitness space, and this expert has been in the space, probably dominating it for a while. And then here comes this young upstart, this fresh face, and now they're getting all of the attention and a lot of the business, and jealousy, real jealousy sets in. Now, sometimes experts are good about masking that, and they may not show the actual jealousy, but some of us, if we're honest, it's there. So what do we do about this, guys? Especially if you're in the 40 plus age group, because what is happening is these upstarts that are just coming along are taking over the space that we have dominated for so long, the space where we are clearly the expert. We have the years of experience. We have multiple credentials. Why? Because we're seeking mastery at what we do. So we pursue the credentials. We have years of experience under our belt. We're stacking those experiences. We're stacking the mastery. And we have lots and lots of great testimonies. We have social proof that we actually can do what we say we can do. But here comes this little upstart who dropped a few pounds, puts on a cute bikini, and whoop-de-doo, there we go. All of the attention comes their way, and we're like slightly annoyed. We're like, she doesn't have the credentials, she doesn't have any experience. Why are all these people going and following this person? So here is the thing. These young people were born with a phone or a tablet in their hand. They have known social media. They have participated in social media probably since the day that they were born, and they've been building a social profile and social following since the day they were born. And once they start to become adults and enter into the space where they're looking to get business, they already have a lot of attention, and they've been cultivating that following for decades, even though they're so young, because Their friends have been following each other from they were very, very young. They're accustomed to the social media. They know the ins and outs of the platforms, especially the ones that they hang out on the most. They have no trouble showing up on camera and even being silly. But us older folks, we have a problem with that. In fact, we don't even want to do the social media thing. And we think that just because we're experts and we have mastery, that alone should bring the business and the attention our way. It is not enough. And yet these young people are coming up with social media in their blood, attention seeking behaviors in their blood, in their DNA, and they're just coming up and just killing it on these platforms. So what do? Do we be jealous as we look on, or is there something else? So here's what academic research has to say. So here's peer-reviewed research. It's very recent. And the research was, does fake followers mitigate perceived influencing power on social media platforms? Here's an excerpt from the finding. Conventional wisdom assumes that fake followers typically do not affect the influencer's account and are therefore counterintuitive, as said practice ultimately hurts influencer credibility. That's the assumption. That's the assumption. Here's the finding. The current study, however, follows 4 extant studies to provide competing evidence revealing the number of followers to be positively associated with perceptions of influencing power, even when consumers recognize the existence of fake followers. Let's just pause right there. So, large following numbers is enough that even if the consumers figure, they may have some fake followers, it is that idea is not enough to kill the idea of incredible influence and power for that person who has a large following, even if some of those numbers are fake. It's against conventional wisdom for you and I to believe that. It just doesn't make any sense. But this is what academic research has found. So let me add this last piece that it also found. Influencer expertise and existing popularity were also found to negate the mere number effect. What is that saying? A lot of influencers actually don't have expertise. You and I both know that. They put on a bikini, they dance around, do some stupid prank, and they get a lot of attention. So that is the space that a lot of social media influencers are in. However, when there is expertise, so influencer expertise can negate the mere numbers effect. So if you truly are an expert, that it won't matter what your follower count is technically, but that is after they know you. They won't know you're an expert till they know you. And that is where the problem is coming in, because until you are on their radar and you have some of their attention for them to know you're an expert, then your numbers won't really matter, but they've got to get to know you first. And this is where the young upstarts are beating out the 40-plus-year-old experts, because they're able to get the attention. And so people get to know them for whatever they know them for. But you and I in the 40-plus age group, we are experts, but we're not necessarily getting the attention, so people do not know that you are an expert. Once they know you're an expert, then the numbers may not matter. But getting them to know that you exist and that you're an expert, that's where the problem's coming from. So when we're talking about the novice versus the expert, we want to be relevant rather than resentful. We want to be relevant rather than resentful. So for brands and companies that are using social media to market their products, this study I just showed you suggests that having a big follower count can make someone look influential, even if some of those followers are not real. But it is also important for influencers to show their expertise and build genuine popularity. So the big important piece of this, though, is to get the attention in the first place so that people know you as an expert, exist, and that you are indeed an expert. And that is the part that we really need to focus on, guys. That is the part that we really need to focus on. How are you going to do that? How are you going to be relevant rather than resentful? I suggest you consider collaborating. Embrace the social media. I know that might not be what you want to hear, but you do need to embrace the social media. Learn social media. Have more media appearances. And if necessary, hire the help. So let's look at this in a little bit more detail. So here are two PSI TV shows where I connected and collaborated with social media influencers. So this is Megan Bubbles, and she has a following of 50,000 on Instagram. And here is Reginald Paz, and he has almost 100,000 followers on Instagram. So I collaborated with them, and that has helped. So this is what I'm suggesting you do. You reach out to these social media influencers. Some of them you have to pay. Some of them will take a trade of services. They're not doing this for free, let me tell you. But reach out and connect with them because they do have the attention, but they don't necessarily have expertise. So Reginald is known for his pet stuff. He does a lot of pet stuff. And Megan does a lot of Amazon unboxing, okay? But they've got the attention of the audience I was trying to break into, the young professional group. So I do have a following, and if I show you my stats, a lot of my stats show that I have a higher male audience, and they are, while I do have the 35 group, a lot of my followers are in the 40 plus age group. So I connected with them, I collaborated with them with a specific strategy to tap into a slightly younger market. Here's a little bit of my social media exposure. So I want to be honest, guys, because I was in television, I used to think, I don't need social media because that was my platform. A lot of us will have a platform of preference. Even the social media influencers, a lot of them love Instagram, for example. So because I was primarily on television, I really didn't feel like I needed to do much of the other platforms, but that's wrong. I have subsequently repented of that, guys, because the idea of being known and being recognized for what I do, getting the attention right up the front so that people even know I exist, that is where I realized I had to be as digitally omnipresent as possible. And that's what I'm telling you that you need to do as well. So I got started with my social media a little bit late, probably like some of you, but here are some of my stats, and I've been working on these, guys, and I'm inviting you to do the same. So you need to embrace the social media. You need to learn social media, and where necessary, hire the help. So this is what I've accomplished. I can help you do the same. I'm not going to say that it's great because, you know, there are lots of people who have more subscribers than I do on YouTube and have more Facebook followers and more Instagram followers. So I'm at, you know, decent numbers, but some of you are behind me. So if that's the case, I'm just showing you where I'm at from the social media perspective, because I'm showing you that I'm working on it. I have made influential reach my business. I've made it my everyday waking thought to learn how to master this thing called influential reach. Guys, we can be big fish in small ponds. We're well known amongst a small peer group, but that is not going to sustain or grow a business. We do need to jump ponds and grow again. That means we do need more media appearances, more press exposure, more TV and podcasts and stages and all of those kinds of exposure. Like here it is, I have gotten some press exposures, well, won an award and all that, but I'm trying to be on multiple platforms. So PSI TV has a channel presence on Roku TV, Fire TV, Vita TV, Apple TV. We have a presence on the top 6 social media platforms. We repurpose our content out to podcasts. We do have a mobile app with subscribers. We are trying to be relevant, not resentful. So this is what I'm inviting you to do. Be relevant, not resentful. So here is my recommendation to you, those of you who are 40 years old and older, and you are a true expert at what you do. You have mastery, you have years of experience, you have tons of great testimonials and user experiences under your belt. But recently, you have been pushed to the back, and the young ones are coming up and taking all the attention. Rather than fight them, collaborate, embrace the social media, learn the social media, make sure you find a way to get more media appearances and exposures, and if needs be, hire that out. Trudy Beerman here of PSI TV. We absolutely can help you expand your influential reach. We have tons of programs here to help you do that, including guesting on PSI TV. Every week, we bring this community content here for you to optimize your opportunity to be famous for what you do. Trudy Beerman here. I am super simple to find, and I do look forward to connecting